Today was my day off. I've been sharing testimony, and it seems as though possibly I'll be able to post quite a bit today. And I have to say this because I review these videos as I do them. Like after I do them, I review them. And I don't realize when I'm doing them, which is a good thing, the captions, like how the camera is, how it's positioned. Like I don't need to be concerned about any of that. I don't, because otherwise I won't be able to talk, and I don't have the ideal space to be able to like film or do things or whatever. So I figure I'll do the light in the dark is your voice. You know what I'm saying? Most people, for me, my light in the dark is my kids. And sometimes my daughter will be in here. Like the second video I did, my daughter was in the back listening. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I was telling her, I'm going to start posting these. I'm like, we're going to record. So she listens to whatever she's listening to, and I begin to talk. And then I saw a light flash, and I'm like, that's sweet. You know, it reminded me of that. You know, she is my light in the dark. It's not my testimony, but for some people, they don't have kids, so their voice is their light in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like what they have to say is their light in the dark. And obviously the gospel is. But it brought to memory, like as I was watching the video just now, there's some things as a kid growing up you don't realize. Like when you're an adult, like why did that happen? And there's a few things that I don't talk about because I'm tired of talking about it. But there's a few other things that are like more personal that you have to really care that other people don't even pay mind to what other people are going to say about your truth. Your truth is your truth. And there's a lot of things people have, that happen to them. They don't make sense. It doesn't make sense at the time until they're an adult. And then they realize, oh, that's why that was happening. For me, I have quite a few different things that have happened as a kid that I was unaware of, and why it happened to me, and why I did and I can tell you, God has got a sense of humor, right? And watching this other video, it was like the third or fourth video, I was like, oh my goodness, it's like the testimony is in my lap, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean it to be that way. I'm not trying to have the camera face my lap at all. I'm just trying to like hold the phone while I'm doing something, obviously, in a way that some people have holders. I don't. I usually keep my phone away from the steering wheel. And I don't condone having the phone on unless it's in a holster on the dash. This is my choice, so it's just best for me. Whether that has consequences or not, that will be on me. But I don't want to condone you driving. I will not talk and drive. Like, have a conversation. This is a little different for me because it's me actually giving you testimony, and it's like an audio recording, so I don't see it like having a conversation with someone else, like holding the phone upright. So to me, it's fine. It's like hitting play and just having a recorder in the seat next to me, but it's in my lap. So it brought to memory, like God has a funny way of like restoring bad memories, I guess. So for me, a bad memory at the time was a good memory. It was like a good memory that my mother was allowing me to have, but it ended up being not a good memory for me because it shouldn't have happened. So when we were in church, we attended they have like missionaries for the girls and boys brigade for the boys. And there's certain elders in the church. When you work for a church, sometimes there's relations and things like that people have with each other, meaning relationships. And there was a particular person that my mom was friends with, their family, a few families she was friends with, but this particular family, she let me go with the man of the family who was in charge of the bookstore. But I like to go get McDonald's fries when I was little. What kid didn't? You know what I mean? Like McDonald's fries were awesome growing up. But she let this person who was at the time in his 60s, she let me sit on his lap and drive the steering wheel. Like as a kid, I'm like 5 or 6 years old, right? And I didn't think anything of it because I trust my mother. But at the time, like when you're little like that, you don't know anything about inappropriate stuff. You don't know anything about that. Like nowadays, Christian parents are teaching their kids at a young age, which is great because the evil side of this world teaches them at birth, obviously, about horrible things that could happen to them, and they do. Well, I was given permission to go with this person to go get fries and sit on their lap and drive their car at 5 or 6. And at 5 or 6, you're not thinking about, why am I driving on the lap of a person that my mom said I could? You're just going because you're going to get fries. You know what I'm saying? It's like a manipulative thing. She had a reason for it. She didn't think anything about it, but there could have been a motive behind it that you don't know anything about. You know what I'm saying? Like, he happened to be the landlord of 1 or 2 homes, possibly. I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't know. However, I know I went at least 2 times. And then I was like, you're sitting on someone's lap that's 60 years old and you're driving up through neighborhoods just with the steering wheel, driving the steering wheel. Like, what's the purpose of this? Like, this isn't normal. Doesn't happen. And I had to reposition myself on his lap, making sure I was on his leg and not in his lap. Like, it's inappropriate. It's uncalled for. And it allows me as a mother when I'm older to make sure that I don't have any kind of a lifestyle like that for my kids. And my mother was a Christian, but it didn't make sense to me now as a grown woman. However, sharing my testimony with the camera positioned the way it is, it's just like a catch-22. You know what I'm saying? Like, God's restoring that bad memory. You know what I'm saying? With my testimony being told, hence from my lap. There you go. It's not a bad thing. It's a God thing. Okay? And God has a way of, restoring things that other people know nothing about, and it might not mean anything to anyone, but it does to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are things that, like, shouldn't have happened. There's other things, that in the time being that if God leads to share about, I will. But that was just like one thing that I'm just like, God has a sense of humor, He really has a sense of humor, and that's good. Because that completely is acceptable to me. I can't talk right now because I'm just